Get out the hair gel and join me as I express my hopes, thoughts, and overall impression of the Final Fantasy XV demo episode Duscae, if that's how you pronounce it. Please keep in mind that demos do not represent the final product, as things can be changed, added, and improved in the final product. Shipped with Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, this 2+ hour demo gives you the opportunity to explore Duscae's open world terrain, experience the new combat system, and get your first impression of the new main characters of the game.
And he's up.
Not technically up.
Now the demo drops you right in the middle of Duscae, so there is no proper introduction to the characters. All you know is that you play as Noctis, who is accompanied by Ignis, Gladiolus, and Prompto, and your car has broken down and you need to get the money to repair it. An opportunity to obtain Gil presents itself as you quickly discover there's a bounty out for a behemoth that is terrorizing the surrounding area, so you need to track and kill the creature in order to get the money you need. So my initial impression of Final Fantasy XV is that the world looks like it could be beautiful and vast, but for the moment the visuals are actually quite blurry and poorly optimized, but hopefully and most likely this will be fixed in the final version of the game. Even though the draw distance is pretty poor, I really like how large the area is, and how it gives you a sense of an open world, and there are definitely new features to make it feel like one. Large area with no load times, a day and night cycle, a highway with NPCs travelling around in cars, and you even get to drag out the deck chairs and camp out for the night. I love this open world approach, and there's something oddly soothing about going out for the day, getting back to a campsite by night, and relaxing with your party while downing some food, and this is also how you level up your character in the game. Also, eating specific meals gives you boosts for you to utilize the next day, so it's even worth visiting the local friendly merchant to buy ingredients to create more dishes for better attributes. The one big downside in all of this is that you can't swim. I was so excited to see these massive beasts in the distance, only to realize they are just a prop, as you can't actually interact with them because you can't swim out to them. It's very disappointing. So is the combat system any good? Well, it seems they have gone for a more hack-and-slash combat system for Final Fantasy XV. Now, I highly approve of this kind of combat system, but in the demo, it is slow, messy, and very unresponsive. The game camera is also all over the place while in combat. Locking on is more of a burden than anything else, and it is generally hard to hit the target you are aiming for. You spam a button to continually attack your target, while keeping an eye on your MP bar, which is essentially your stamina bar, and depletes the more you use special abilities. But I found that half the time I went to use these abilities, I just kept missing, as enemies are often quite fast and evade them all the time. You can also activate defense mode with the touch of a button, in which you automatically dodge incoming attacks. Going on the defense uses up stamina, but when you want to go into defense mode, it takes way too long, as it doesn't end your current attack animation, like it would in most hack and slash games. Also, often you will be facing a screen full of enemies at once, and trust me when I say it's very messy, combat-wise. In saying this, I really like the creature designs, and man, I have fought a behemoth in previous Final Fantasy titles, but this demo actually made me nervous and gave me a kind of Jurassic Park feeling as you track the beast, stalk it, and eventually kill it. It was a long process to defeat it, and I loved it. There is a lack of magic in the demo, but you do get to experience an incredible summoning. I'm not sure how it will work in the main game, but at least what you see here is amazing and totally badass. And finally, even though there is no proper character introduction, I find the banter between the group humorous and interesting. I love how they complement each other during battle, and little things like that. I'm excited to get to know more about them in the final product. So let's get to the rest of my cons. The visuals are blurry, but also the frame rate does drop quite a bit throughout, usually during battle with a lot going on at once. Also, the demo is quite long at over 2 hours, and also contains some side quests, but they are next to pointless at this stage and mostly consist of you walking to an area with a marker. Seriously, that's it, and maybe you pick up an item and boom, you're done. So combat is weak, you can't swim, and finally, and this kind of caught me by surprise, but at this stage the game is awfully sexist to both genders. For a first, your party is made up of all males, which are stylish, buff, and full of testosterone, and then at the very end of the demo you meet Cindy. This is just embarrassing. She's a mechanic, she has huge breasts with plenty of cleavage, and a dopey attitude with dialogue that just made me cringe. Even the men had bad and sexist dialogue towards her. I've played a few Final Fantasies before, but this is the first time where I've thought, wow, I feel like I'm watching a corny anime.
Just let us know if you need anything.
Well, it won't be about repairs next time.
Well, that's fine by me.
I really don't like what they have done, and I hope that they make some changes because seriously, it's neither sexy nor smart. So in the end, Final Fantasy episode Duscae shows promise for the final product, but also leaves me worrying. I absolutely praise the more open world campy feel, and I'm sure the visuals will be touched and cleaned up. But the combat, camera, and sexist characters worry me the most. I miss having a woman in the party to mix things up, and the combat needs to be more responsive and player friendly. You don't want to have a game where you're fighting the controls and the camera more than the enemies. For now, I'm excited, but also there's much to be done. Expect a full review once the game is fully released, but for now, I'm bloody out of here.
Don't be a stranger now.